This is Tony, also known as T Jinx. Um, I don't even know if this is reading right, so I'll start over. YouTube's got a real big delay on my phone right now, so this is a Planetary Celtic cross reading. I drew these cards last night. Had all the intentions of reading it last night, but had other things get away. Got up this morning and intended on just putting the cards up because I understood what they were saying, but no, that ain't what's supposed to happen. So good morning to you all, grand risings to you all, because there's nothing to mourn about. Um, take that back, there is some things to mourn about. Let me quit rambling. This is Tony, also known as T Jinx, Heal and Reveal on Facebook, and if you're on here, it's Heal and Reveal Tony Jenkins on YouTube. This is a Planetary Celtic Cross Tarot spread. When I say planetary, that means I am pulling on the energy of all of us. This is a reading that pertains to the state of our collective energies, even though we are very evidently in division. So if you know anything about a Celtic cross, this is the same setup. The first card talks about your situation. The situation we are in is under the energy of Taurus in reverse. The thing about a Taurus is they're bullheaded and they're stubborn. They don't like to be moved until, it fits them. And that kind of, if you think about it, that's really where we're at as a collective. You have people who are begging for change, and you have other people who don't see a need for change because a lot of the things don't affect them. And I'm not going to get, too deep into this because, being honest without trying to shelter your little fragile feelings, it's really racially motivated. It really is. It's the people who have drew from the perks of the past we'll just say 400 or 500 years. It's much deeper than that though, but we'll just use that as an example. So the people who have drawn from the perks for the last 400 to 500 years have gotten so used to the conditions that they have been benefiting from that they don't see the plight of the other ones who, bore the brunt of the blast to get them those benefits in the first place. So again, it gets down into privileges and blinders. Which privileges and blinders could very easily be privileges and binders. So again, with this Taurus energy being a situation of people just don't want change, and the main reason why they don't want change is because if it feels good to you, why would you change? You draw from what feels good to you instead of what should feel good for all, and that's just the selfishness of living under the illusion of separation. So it is. Coming into the second card, which is what's holding us in that pattern or what's crossing the situation, it's the Sun card in reverse. All right, back to this Taurus card. It's a 2 energy, which means self-reflection. A lot of people don't want to do self-reflection because all they can see is themselves. And yeah, you should see yourself, but you have to get to a higher state of existence, being that this is a collective reading. You should be able to see yourself in all others, and you should be able to see all others within yourself. That just don't happen here on planet Earth. And the reason why what's holding us in that pattern is the sun. We're blinded. We're blinded and we've been placed in the box. We're at a selfish point of, and I'll try and block that glare. It's a 13. That 13 means that the potential for communication has been pretty much stomped at this point. Because all we see, again, is that one. All we see is ourselves, and we only can speak for ourselves. All I can say is what works for me. And that's a common thing. And yeah, you have to carry that energy of being able to work for yourself. But again, if you're using a proper 2, what works for you should already have an inclusion of what works for all. But that, again, does not happen here on planet Earth. So we're stubborn because people don't want to see themselves, and they're not willing to make the sacrifices from the gains that they have already been born into or have, been generationally receiving. And again, this is not just tied strictly into, say, racial gain and things like that. It goes much deeper, but that's a large catalyst. If you can't see your plight, if you can't see the plight of others, then you're lost. The basis for the situation is Aquarius. If you want to go with that, we're in the age of Aquarius. We're going through another cosmic cycle. You could do that, or if you just want to call it what it is, it's the 11. It's the illumination. You don't want to get into a sense of illumination. If things burn or blind you on a higher level, it just you won't pay attention to what stings you. You really won't. I mean, the 11 is awareness, but when 11 is too bright, it's a sense of overwhelm. It's a sense of overwhelm because there's just too much going on. We're in an overwhelming energy of division, and think about for the past couple of weeks. We could be carrying the energy like when we went into the cycle of autumn. It was supposed to be you're supposed to reap what you're sowing. You're supposed to get into a state of thanksgiving. You're supposed to start honoring everything that you work for. But if you're working as an individual, then it's going to blind you from seeing your fruits as a collective. So we're in that energy. This year's 11. It's 2018. It's the year of illumination. Things that no longer serve you should be brought to the light. But if you're refusing to even look at what no longer serves you because it's burning the whole collective, then you're going to be under that 11 energy in reverse, which is basically, you're going to be stuck in your own, and I used to use this term, fall alignment. Fall as in F-A-U-X, fake. You're in your own sense of fake enlightenment, I mean to say. And again, in alignment, and that can go down into all your many divisions. And if this is going to burn somebody's little bridges, you should know me by now, but I don't really give a shit. So if you run around here and if you're one of these high and mighty vegans, if you're running around here and you're one of these high and mighty yoga instructors, or if you're one of these love and lighters, or even some people who want to play the chaos game, if you are so ingrained into what you believe in to where it now excludes others, you're part of the problem. You're really part of the problem. And if that hurts your feelings, grow the fuck up. Going over here into what's going on in the past, the recent past is the moon. The moon keeps our emotions, but the moon is also illumination itself through the sense of an illusion. The moon's energy is really sun energy amplified. So the moon, again, is a keeper of illusions, and we've been buying into this illusion, which again, we always see is the balance of self. That's that one. I can put my potential of myself into what gives me balance. That's that 4. But here's the trick. What gives you balance is not a 4 balance, it's a box. I can only see what makes me safe in my box. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I'm gonna stay in my box. I can't afford to get out here and risk working for the collective if it's going to take me out of what I already have for myself. And again, that's that sense of really how they trap us. That's that 1 versus 99. Nobody wants to stand up and make a sacrifice, so then everybody, takes the loss. And it is what it is. So going over here to where we're currently at, and this plays out, honestly, we are actually in Venus retrograde. So this Venus card in reverse works for me in the sense that it's a 16, which means now you're trying to figure out where your foundation is at. But with that 1 and that 6 making 7, it's a duality of you should be finding your self-awareness, but sometimes the deception of what you have bought into as love can be deceiving itself. You'll hear me say this lots of times. If you're living through your heart, you're living through attachment. Attachment means you have drawn values to things. Remember, the whole root of this whole issue is that people don't want change. We usually don't want to change from what we value. So therefore, we're not operating under Venus energy, which is truly the sense of love. We're not operating out of love. We're operating out of attachment and what makes me feel safe and what makes me feel good. And then that's a foundation because it can only keep certain amounts of houses safe within a village. And remember, it takes a whole village to raise a family. So right now we're out here under a sense of division because everybody wants to believe in what they want to believe in that makes them feel good, but we don't want to look at what the whole collective is going to need to be good. What's coming ahead in the near future? It's the fire card. It's a 23. There's going to have to be a higher sense of self-reflection, and we're going to have to start communicating, or else we're going to stay in manipulation. If we do use that fire energy, if we do sit down and see ourselves in others and then start speaking better of the whole instead of the individual, we can manifest. That 5 is movement. Either way you go, your ass gonna move. You're gonna move. You're either gonna move into manifestation or you're gonna move continually under manipulation. Because all it takes is one little wind-up toy and the collective goes to pieces. Look at the past couple of weeks. We were, again, like I was saying earlier, we were under this period, and we still are under this period of reaping what you sow, finding your cosmic balance, balancing your own energies, balancing the energies of the planet, balancing your divine feminine, your divine masculine, balance. All they got to do is dangle one little damn thing that divides the country or divides the planet, and everybody gets right back into their Taurus energy. No, I can only speak from what I believe in, and I will not be moved. All you got to do is use trigger words. People don't like to do research. People like to admit to the fact that the government has been practicing mind control and subliminal techniques and tactics on us since the 60s. At least since the 60s. If you want to do further research and get into your conspiracy circles, it's been going on since the 30s. Hell, they were using the damn different things during World War II from over in Germany, and guess what? The scientists from Germany came over here and made our NASA program and all these other little sub programs. So you think that they didn't know how to work the human mind over there way back almost 100 years ago? The fuck y'all think they're doing to us now? Technology has gained. It has not went backwards, it's only gained. So you need to really think about it. You keep falling into cycles and you're going to keep falling nonetheless. I'm not going to even go into that. It's just really, if you don't do anything different, you're going to keep getting the same. Getting over here into our control, this is the control card. And I apologize for the glare. Again, this was impromptu. I really just want to put the cards up, but my higher guidance said, nope, you must read. So I'm doing it. So the our control as a collective, our control of the situation is Mars in reverse. Mars is a war planet. War does not always have to be something that is a bad thing. War is really just action. War is an act of aggression to the point of you are exacting change. You are going to move from one point to another because you have a goal and an objective, and you're going to honor that energy that will no longer allow you to be a Taurus and sit still. So it's a 1 and a 7. It's when I can see my whole potential in what I'm trying to be aware of, then I can make a movement towards that 8. I'm either going to move to create some abundance, or I'm not going to move because I no longer still see that 7. If I still don't see myself in everything, then I'm going to stay in that state of overwhelm because I'm not ready to embrace change. So that Mars, you're either going to beat yourself up on the inside, or we're going to get out here and we're going to start beating up some of these concepts and some of these hidden controls. And again, it does not have to go down into a grab your arms and go out here and burn shit. It's merely an awareness game. When you become aware of what's screwing you over, it becomes harder to get screwed over. But if, again, you're over here being a Taurus and you only like what you like because it makes you feel good about yourself, you can never see truly what's affecting others. And I'm apologizing for this delay. You know, YouTube is getting it just as bad as damn Facebook and Instagram with all these delays. Going over here is the second card on the higher cross is how your environment affects you. So basically externalization. How externalization affects you. It's the air. Man, look at all these 7s, for real. All these 7s coming up through here. This is a 25. This is the information taken in. The element of air is your reasoning and communication. 2 is input, output. It's not always self-reflection. Sometimes it's the information I'm taking in will be the information I spit out. So if all you're taking in is the things that make you feel comfortable because you don't want to address what does make you feel uncomfortable so you can eliminate it, then you're manipulated. That's that 2. I'm taking in the only things that make me feel good, love and light. You get over here at 5. Now you're manipulated because you have not taken in everything. You have not seen your reflection in all things so that you can learn to manifest a better thing. That's a proper 7. 7 is self-awareness. I now know my place amongst all things. Now I'm going to start moving towards this 11 where I realize I am all things. You don't want to do it. We're not ready to do that yet because, again, we're a Taurus. We're selfish as fuck. So getting over here to hopes and fears. It's Earth. Earth is not only, the planet we live on, but Earth is an established foundation, but it's higher sense of security and prosperity. It's a 26. If we can take in enough information to build a proper foundation, then this becomes a hope. We can protect this planet and therefore protect ourselves. I mean, look at the figure on the card. She's in the butterfly mode. She is embracing change. She got the leaves over there. Fall, autumn. She is going through metamorphosis. She is changing to become a higher state of existence because she sees herself and she's ready to make a new foundation. But when you don't see yourself properly, you're only worried about your own foundation because, again, I like my abundance. I like what I have. It makes me feel comfortable. That is speaking from the illusion of separation because it only makes it about yourself. Going over here to the last card, which is the total projected outcome. It's Pluto in reverse. It's a 22. Really, to be honest with you, it ain't good. Think about Pluto. Pluto is smart enough, from my standpoint, Pluto is smart enough to stay just outside of the known solar system, but still be included. But if you look at it from a different perspective, it is a part of it, but it is detached. And that's where I'm saying earlier about, when you buy into all these higher level concepts, and again, if it rubbed you the wrong way, sorry for you. There is much merit in being vegan. There's much merit in wanting to play love and light. There's much merit in any system you buy into. But it's when you start finding yourself honoring division more than you do inclusion is when I say fuck you. So when you get back over here to Pluto and you start distancing yourself from others, but that you still want to proclaim to be of the same, you have played the 22 in reverse. It is not being a master builder. You are a master disruptor. So we are going to stay masterfully disrupting our own self because, again, as a collective, we don't want to change. Too much selfishness, too much to lose from what we have already gained, whether it was from ills or whether it was from hard work. If you got it from hard work, teach somebody else how to do that hard work or share with others who don't have what you have in hopes that we may all gain together. It's a hard thing to do. Get off your ass. Be better to each other as well as you want to be better to yourself. You cannot protect the animals if you cannot protect humans. You cannot protect the humans if you can't protect animals. It's fucking interconnectivity, all are one. Be the 11 and not the asshole. Peace and wholeness.